Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. So a little bit ago, I did the 10 final questions for VC video creators, as created by Richard McCook. Turns out it wasn't the 10 final questions because another channel that I happen to enjoy has come up with 10 questions of his own. That channel being 6 a.m. Dude lives in Buffalo. He's been into the hardcore scene in Buffalo for quite some time, from what I understand. Um, I don't even know his first name, but I think that's by design. He seems to enjoy his privacy. Uh, Although I've spent a lot of time in Buffalo at hardcore shows, I have a lot of close friends that have been in the Buffalo hardcore scene for years. So I'm wondering if at some point we may have crossed paths and I just don't know it. But because, from a YouTube perspective, he's just a pair of hands, a voice, and some knowledge. So, yeah, but whatever. Super cool guy. Came up with these 10 questions. He tagged some people that he would like to see answer these questions, and I was one of them, so I'm going to oblige. Okay, question number 1. How did you come up with the name of your channel? My medication, obviously. I take a medication. It's a very common medication. But I'm one of the rare instances of people that it kind of affects negatively. I'm supposed to take 2 in the morning with food and then just get on with my day. Most people can do that, but if I take 2 of these pills at the same time, I am throwing up all day. Like it's just not good. I just get super nauseated. I get a pallor, and it's just not fun. I had to work out a schedule where I could like split the dosage up and take like 1 in the morning and 1 at night. But even now, if I take the second one like too early, I'm barfing everywhere. So I figure there's pallor, and I always kind of like the word pallor. Just doesn't get used enough. So I was in this band called Poison Spur. We put a demo out. We wanted to attach a label name or something to it. I didn't know what to call it, so I called it Pallor Recordings. It's the Poison Spur. This is the Pick Your Sting, the limited version of the demo. But yeah, so I called it Pallor Recordings. I did the Disc Donut demo on Pallor Recordings as well, I believe. And then, but at that point, I wasn't doing a YouTube channel. So years later, when I decided to do a YouTube channel, I figured I would use, the word Pallor in the name, because I'm that imaginative. And then an old standby of late night TV came on, and that is a movie called Uncommon Valor. And this is one of those old, Vietnam vets, they get back together after the years after the war to rescue, like, the colonel's son or some shit like that. But whatever, Uncommon Valor. And I thought, Uncommon Pallor, that works. So that's where the name came from. Question 2. What do you film your videos on? My phone. Samsung, I think an 8A or something. Yeah, I have like a handheld digital camera, but the video quality's darker and the sound's not as good. Phone does a way better job, so that's what I'm doing. So my phone. 3, do you edit your videos or just post the whole thing? I don't edit anything. I used to know how to do a little bit of editing, and then I got a new laptop, and the programs that I used to use are like obsolete now, and there's all these new ones, and I don't really understand the interface. Like, I'm not computer savvy in the least. Even like imaging programs and stuff, like, I'll make like mixtapes, and I'd like to be able to make covers, like J cards for them, but I haven't found an imaging software that's like simple enough for me to use and free, because I'm not buying something that I barely use. So yeah, long story short, I don't edit, mainly because I can't, but it might be a good thing. 4, when did you start collecting records and why? I started actually collecting records in like late 1984, early 85. Like, I grew up in the record generation. Like, like records were pretty much, cassettes were just starting to come in when I was a kid. 8-tracks were kind of passe. But, so I would go to like, the the mainstream record store at our mall, and I would buy like 45s of top 40 hits, like when I was real young. Like they'd have it set up like a post office sorting box, and it'd be like number 1 of the week, number 2 of the week, 3, and I would buy those when I was a kid. But to actually to understand a direction that I was going in musically, punk, I would have to start collecting it, because that stuff just wasn't around here. I live in a small town. The record store here was, fucking Hall & Oates and, shit like that. But, like mainstream stuff. So I would have to go to London, which is the nearest bigger city, and they had some stores that would sell punk. So I just started buying that, because where else am I going to get it, I could sit up late at night and record it off the CBC radio or college radio stations. I could record them on my tape deck or something, but it's not as good as having a tangible record. So yeah, late 84, early 85. 5. Do you consider yourself an audiophile? Not in the least, because most of the stuff that I listen to sounds like it was recorded in a dumpster, and I like it like that. Like I don't need some kind of lavish production values for stuff, because I just really don't listen to that kind of music. I mean, I get it why people would be into that, and like, I mean, even as far as gear and stuff, as you'll see, because I think that's the next question. My gear's not fancy at all, and I don't give a shit. 6. Yeah, what is your current vinyl setup? Very simple. I have a Marantz TT240 turntable. I always like Marantz turntables, so I've always kind of had one. My amp is a JVC RX217. Nothing super fancy, but it works awesome, and I like how it looks. And tape deck, Kenwood. It's a KX W1060. It's just an awesome, dual Kenwood tape deck. I don't own a CD player. I don't have like reel-to-reel or any of that stuff. Just really simple. My speakers are just like a cheap-ass bookshelf set of Philips speakers that just happen to be really loud and sound good. Yeah, I don't need anything fancy. 7. What does your family think of your channel? I don't think they know, nor would they care. Like, I don't have kids and I'm not married, so I don't have anybody that's in close proximity to me, at any given point during the day or night, aside from the cats and a tarantula. I have a cousin that's into hardcore. He watches the channel. He seems to think it's okay. Most of my friends, that watch it think it's okay. So yeah, but my family, I don't think they'd care if they knew. 8. What is the one record you sold you wish you hadn't? You know what? I had that super rare color of the first Gorilla Biscuit 7-inch, the yellow one with the kind of white mushed into it, and I got it from Revelation back when it came out, and that thing goes for like a shitload of money now. I kind of wish I still had that, but at the same time I don't really care, because I'm not really a huge Gorilla Biscuits fan. Like, they're okay, but when they came out, I heard them enough. My friends loved them and listened the shit out of that record, and so I don't care if I ever hear it again, but from an investment standpoint, it'd be cool to have that, because I'd sell that fucker in a second. But I'm sure I got rid of it back in the day for like peanuts. I traded it probably for something stupid. But yeah, I mean, and I've had like, Exclaim records and shit like that. But whatever, they're all gone for a reason. If I want them bad enough, I can get them back. That's what I got a job for. 9. Has anyone ever recognized you in the real world? Yeah. Kind of rarely. Like, as far as people go that I don't know, I'll go to Toronto, and there's a couple people in Toronto that have seen my channel, and they'll, say, oh, I like your channel and that, but I don't really get awkward with that kind of stuff. Like, I'm like, nah, cool, man, thanks, and then that usually is the beginning of like a real world friendship. So that's what it's all about, right? Although I think it'd be awesome if somebody came up and was like, "You motherfucker, you said fucking, the new Poison idea wasn't as good as everybody thought," or just something. I live for the day that somebody comes up and wants to chastise me over it. Please, someone out there do that to me publicly. It would be awesome. 10. What was the worst comment you've ever received? Oddly enough, I have never received a bad comment. And I mean, that could stem from the fact that I don't have very many videos. I don't think I'm even at 80 videos yet, and I've done this for 3 years or something like that. I just don't do videos frequently enough to get that much attention or to piss that many people off, I guess. I know the only time I've ever had, when they used to actually allow thumbs down on video, I would get thumbs down when I would do a vinyl tag. So when it was kind of in the wheelhouse of the entire VC, that's where those people that might give me shitty comments would come out. But no one ever said anything bad. I would just get a couple of thumbs down or whatever. Don't give a fuck. So yeah, I guess that's the 10 questions. Hopefully that was interesting enough, but that's all I got, man. So yeah, thanks to 6 a.m. for coming up with this, and yeah, I'll see you all next time.